More than 5,000 years ago, in the silence of the Egyptian desert, something strange happened. A body was buried, but it did not disappear. The heat was relentless. The soil was rich with natural salts, and without anyone planning it, the desert preserved what death should have erased. When people returned to the grave, they expected bones. Instead, they found a face, and that changed everything. To them, a human being was not just flesh and bone. It was a combination of forces. The Ka, life force. The Ba, personality. And something beyond both. For the Ka and Ba to reunite after death, the body had to remain whole. If it decayed, the soul could not return. Preservation became sacred. At first, preservation was an accident. But accidents rarely stay accidents for long. As centuries passed, the Egyptians began to ask, if the desert could preserve the body, could they learn to do it themselves? By the time the pyramids rose over the Nile around 2600 BCE, burial had become deliberate. Bodies were wrapped in linen, placed in coffins, protected from the open air. But something was still missing. Linen alone could not stop decay. The body still changed, still softened, still broke down. And if the body failed, the soul's return was uncertain. That uncertainty was unacceptable. During the Middle Kingdom, something shifted. Burial was no longer only religious. It became experimental. Observation turned into method. Method turned into science.
Then came the most delicate step, an incision on the left of the abdomen. Carefully, controlled. This was a technical procedure. Stomach, lungs, liver, and intestines were removed. As they decayed quickly, preservation required their separation from the body. Each organ was placed in a canopic jar, protected by the four sons of Horus. Protection was both physical and spiritual. The brain was extracted through the nose with a hook. To the Egyptians, it held little importance in the afterlife. But the heart was never removed. The seat of memory and morality, it would be needed for judgment later. In the afterlife, the heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. If heavy with sin, the journey ended there. The body was packed with linen and sealed. It was now secure. The real transformation was still ahead. The next step was powerful, natron, a natural salt that drew moisture and stopped decay. The body was buried completely. Natron absorbed water so bacteria could not survive. For 40 days, the body rested beneath salt, changing and transforming. Days passed. Moisture left the body. Skin tightened and decay was denied. When the salt was removed, the body was dry, stable, and preserved. The hollow body was refilled with linen and resin for structure. The skin was treated with oils to soften dryness and add protection. Then came the wrapping. Hundreds of meters of linen layer by layer. Arms, legs, and fingers were bound separately. Every detail mattered. The body was no longer fragile. It was now a preserved mummy. Between the layers, amulets were placed. Symbols like the scarab provided spiritual armor for the journey ahead. Wrapping continued layer after layer until the body became architectural in its structure. Eventually, the face disappeared. Identity would soon be restored in a new, eternal form. For the elite, a golden mask was prepared. Gold symbolized eternity, preserving the face in metal. The mask was placed carefully. The individual was now prepared for the next world. The mummy was placed inside nested coffins, mirroring the sacred layers of protection beneath. Carefully, they lowered the form. The 70-day process was almost complete. The lid was sealed and the chamber grew quiet. Inside, the body waited. The coffin entered the tomb where ancient spells were believed to guide the soul. Finally, the tomb was sealed. They had challenged decay itself. Eternity had begun.
Wealth dictated the quality of preservation. For pharaohs, preservation reinforced divine authority, stone declarations of power that outlasted flesh. Over 3 millennia, ritual became science. Then silence. The tombs were forgotten. Centuries later, they were found again. Inside, the ancient ritual had held. Modern technology allowed us to look inside. Immortality's quest revealed history's deep secrets. They achieved not life, but remembrance. In their belief, truth still mattered. At its core, embalming was about hope. What remains of us when we're gone? It began with sand and became science. The chamber belief decay could be defeated. 70 days of precision and patience. Time moves forward, even for those who resist. And yet they are still here. It began with a simple observation. They made sure we would never forget.